Hey everyone, congrats on landing that software developer interview.
It's a big accomplishment.
It really is. So to help you prep, we're diving into a YouTube video today from How to Become.
They're all about acing those job interviews.
Yeah. And this one focuses on technical questions for software
The
developers.
stuff that can really make you stand out.
Exactly. We'll break down why interviewers ask these questions.
And how to craft answers that'll really impress them.
Plus, you might even understand some key concepts better by the end, too.
Whether you're the one being interviewed or doing the interviewing.
Okay, let's jump right in. The video starts off with a classic waterfall versus agile.
Yeah, you always hear those terms tossed around.
Right. But they use a really cool analogy in the video to explain the difference.
So think of waterfall like constructing a building, very strict plan, sequential phases.
Okay, so like design, foundation, walls, roof, all in order.
Exactly. Now, agile, on the other hand, is more like building a dynamic web app.
So it's more flexible, constantly evolving.
Right. Adapting to changes, making improvements along the way.
So the interviewer isn't just looking for definitions here
No, they want to see if you can actually apply these models.
to real-world situations.
Exactly. So think back to your own projects.
Yeah, where have you seen waterfall or agile in action?
And how did each approach affect the project?
It's all about making those connections.
Showing you can think critically about these concepts.
Okay, so the video then moves on to a question about troubleshooting.
Uh-oh, everyone's favorite topic.
Right. It specifically asks you to describe a development issue you faced.
And how you tackled it, of course.
Have you ever had that moment where you're staring at your code and it's just not working?
Oh, we've all been there.
Totally.
Yeah.
So how do you explain that in an interview?
Well, the video recommends using the STAR method. Yeah. Stands for situation, task, action, result.
Okay, so it helps you tell a clear, structured story.
Exactly. They actually give a great example in the video.
Oh, what is it?
A performance issue with a dashboard that was pulling in a ton of data.
Oof, sounds like a nightmare. What was the problem?
Inefficient database queries.
Those are the worst. Like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
And the haystack keeps growing.
The video mentions something called full table scans. What are those?
Imagine flipping through every single page of a dictionary to find one word.
Oh, wow. So the database has to search through every single row.
Pretty much. Super inefficient, especially with large data sets.
So what can you do about it?
Well, there are solutions like adding indexes.
Indexes.
Think of it like creating a table of contents for your database.
Makes sense. So you can jump right to the information you need.
Exactly. And then there's query caching too,
Which is?
like storing the results of frequent searches for quicker access.
So next time your app is running slow, you'll have a clue what might be going on behind the scenes.
A little peek behind the curtain.
Now the video goes into something that might seem a little intimidating. Big O notation.
Yeah, it can sound scary.
Right, but it's really just about understanding an algorithm's efficiency.
And how it changes as the data grows.
So like comparing a scooter to a sports car.
They both get you there, but their performance changes drastically at higher speeds.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. The video uses an example of searching through a list.
Right. You can do a linear search, checking each item one by one.
But that would be really slow with a huge list,
Exactly. That's where a binary search comes in.
which is much faster.
Way faster. Especially for large data sets because it eliminates half the search space with each step.
How does that work?
Well, think about searching for a contact in your phone. If you had to check each name individually, it would take forever.
Oh yeah, with thousands of contacts, that would be a nightmare.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A good algorithm makes all the difference.
Okay, ready for a brain teaser.
Hit me with it.
The video gives this challenge, finding a missing element in an array.
Ooh, sounds fun.
And they walk through a really clever solution using arithmetic progression.
Using math to your advantage.
Yeah.
I love it.
They even give you a snippet of Python code.
Always a bonus.
But the real takeaway here is understanding the why behind the solution.
Not just memorizing the code, right?
Yeah, that deeper understanding is what will impress interviewers.
Shows you're a real problem solver.
Okay, now for another fundamental data structure. Binary search trees.
BSTs. I remember when I first learned about those.
Me too. They seem so abstract.
But the video explains it really well, using a visual analogy.
They actually compare it to a tree.
Yeah, with a specific rule for how the elements are organized.
Oh, okay, so how does it work?
Each node in the tree can have up to 2 children.
Children.
Yeah. And the left child is always smaller, while the right child is always larger.
Interesting. So it's all perfectly ordered?
Exactly. That structure makes searching, inserting, and deleting data super efficient.
Makes sense. The video mentions a real-world example, too.
User access control systems.
So, like checking if a user has permission to do something.
Out of thousands of options, potentially?
And a BST makes that process super fast.
Exactly. They're also used in online shopping filters.
Yeah.
Or anything where you need to search hierarchical data quickly.
Okay, so we've covered waterfall versus agile, efficient algorithms, data structures.
And even got a sneak peek into troubleshooting.
But the video has even more questions waiting to be explored.
We're just getting started. Stay tuned because we'll be diving into those in the next part of our deep dive.
We'll even give you some insider tips on crafting answers that really show off your skills.
Can't wait. All right, back to those software developer interview questions from the How to Become video.
Yeah, let's tackle a few more.
Even if you don't get asked these exact questions, thinking through them is great practice.
Like a mental warm-up?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, first up, what is your favorite programming language and WHY?
Seems pretty straightforward.
It is, but the WHY is what really matters.
Because it reveals what you value as a developer.
Right. Do you care about elegance and readability, or performance and scalability, or maybe the community around that language?
It shows your priorities.
Yeah. The interviewer is trying to understand what makes you tick.
So I guess you have to be ready to explain WHY that language clicks for you.
Show your passion. Okay, next question. What are the most important skills and qualities for a developer?
Besides the technical stuff, obviously.
Right. Everyone knows you need technical skills,
Mm-hmm.
but what LSE makes someone great?
Good question.
Well, it's about being a problem solver, a good communicator, someone who can work in a team.
And adapt to new tech, too.
All that stuff matters. I once worked on this project where the code was amazing,
Oh, yeah. What?
but the team's communication was so bad that the whole thing almost fell apart.
Wow. So it really shows that soft skills matter just as much as technical ones.
Big time. Okay, now for a tool that everyone needs to know. Version control.
Like Git. Right.
Yep. Have you ever accidentally overwritten someone's work on a project?
Ugh, don't remind me.
Version control saves you from those nightmares.
So it's like an undo button for your whole code base.
Exactly. You can track changes, go back to old versions, collaborate smoothly.
Definitely a must-have for any developer.
For sure. Speaking of collaboration, let's talk APIs.
Those things that let different systems talk to each other.
Yep. The video focuses on RESTful APIs.
Those are pretty popular these days.
Yeah, super common. To be honest, I used to find APIs kind of confusing.
Me too.
But the video has this great analogy that really helped me understand.
What is it?
Imagine ordering food at a restaurant.
Okay.
You're the client. You make a request to the waiter, who is like the API.
Okay, I'm following.
The waiter takes your order to the kitchen, which is like the server.
And then they prepare your food and send it back through the waiter.
Exactly. It makes those RESTful API conventions much clearer.
Yeah, that analogy really helps. Okay, what about object-oriented programming?
OP. Another classic.
Sometimes I feel like I'm drowning in acronyms.
Haha, I hear ya.
So how do you explain OOP without getting too technical?
Okay, imagine you're an architect designing a building.
I can picture it.
You wouldn't start from scratch for every single room, right?
You'd have blueprints for different components.
Exactly. Like windows, doors, walls, reusable elements.
And OOP is similar.
Yeah. You create objects with properties and behaviors.
They act like blueprints for your code.
Yep. It makes your code more organized, modular, and easier to maintain.
Ah, I see. Okay, the video then goes into some behavioral questions.
The stuff that's not strictly about coding.
Right. It's about how you handle challenges, work with others.
Things like that. For example, tell us about a time you went above and beyond for a project.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It's your chance to shine. Be specific. Give real examples. Tell a compelling story.
Show them you're dedicated and resourceful.
Exactly. Another common one is, how do you handle constructive criticism on your code?
Ooh, I hate getting feedback sometimes.
Everyone does.
Uh-huh.
But being open to it shows you're coachable, that you care about learning and growing.
And that you value collaboration.
Absolutely. Now, deadlines are a reality in this field, right?
Tell me about it.
So the video asks, how do you handle tight deadlines and juggle multiple projects?
It's like being a chef in a busy kitchen.
Totally. You need good time management skills, communication, organization.
So share an example of a time you managed a complex project successfully.
Show them you can handle the pressure. Okay, we've covered programming languages, version control, APIs, OOP. even behavioral questions.
My brain is full.
But there's more. The video throws in a few more thought-provoking questions.
Like what?
For instance, what do you think is the most challenging aspect of software development?
Interesting. Not about complaining, but showing you understand the complexities.
Right. For me, it's the constant need to learn and adapt. What about you?
That's a good one. Okay, what else?
Well, they also ask, describe a situation where you had to improve the speed of a slow-running application.
So they're really digging into your performance optimization skills.
Yep. Share a specific example, explain your debugging process, highlight your insight.
Show them you can solve real-world problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's the question of code maintainability and readability.
Especially important in team projects.
Huge. They ask, how do you ensure this in your work?
It's about following coding conventions, writing clear comments, using meaningful names.
Right. Your code should be easy for others to understand.
Like a well-written email.
Perfect analogy. Now, let's not forget about cutting-edge tech like machine learning and AI.
The future is here.
Right. The video asks if you've worked on any projects in those areas.
Even if you haven't, it's good to express interest and show you're eager to learn.
Exactly. Those fields are evolving so rapidly.
Learning never stops. Now, the video makes a really good point. An interview is a two-way street.
You should be interviewing them too.
Asking questions shows your engagement and helps you decide if the company's a good fit.
For sure. Don't be afraid to ask about their culture, their approach to professional development.
What about their tech stack?
Good one. The video suggests some great questions.
Like, what are the company's long-term goals?
Or, what opportunities for professional development are available?
It shows you're thinking beyond just this one role.
You're thinking about your future growth at the company.
Okay, before we wrap up, they go back to some classic interview questions.
Oh yeah, like what?
Tell me about yourself and why should we hire you?
The ones everyone dreads.
But they're your chance to really shine. Connect your skills and experience to your personal story.
What makes you uniquely qualified for this role?
You're selling yourself.
Exactly. Okay, so we've been through a ton of software developer interview questions today.
My head is spinning.
But I hope you feel more prepared and maybe even a little bit excited.
It's not just about memorizing answers.
It's about understanding the concepts, connecting them to your experience, showing your passion.
Be authentic, be engaging, and show them what you've got. In the final part of our deep dive, we'll wrap things up and leave you with some parting thoughts to really help you stand out.
All right, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive, all those software developer interview questions.
From algorithms to APIs, behavioral questions, the works. But how do we actually put all this knowledge into action when we're sitting in that interview chair?
The key is, don't treat it like a test where you have to have the right answer memorized.
So it's not about just reciting facts and figures.
Exactly. Think of the interviewer as another developer.
Someone who's genuinely interested in seeing how you think.
Yeah. They want to see your problem-solving process in action, how you approach challenges.
Because in the real world, you're constantly learning new things.
Right. Absolutely. The tech world changes so fast, nobody can know everything.
So it's more about showing you can adapt and figure things out on the fly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One tip I always give people is try teaching these concepts to someone else.
Like explaining binary search trees to my dog.
Hey, whatever works. But seriously, when you have to explain something clearly.
It forces you to understand it on a deeper level.
Right. And what about those behavioral questions? Those tell me about a time ones.
Those always trip me up. It's hard to come up with good examples on the spot.
Well, think back to projects you've worked on, even if they don't seem directly related at first.
So like that time I optimized my website's loading speed.
Perfect example. Or that tricky bug you fixed with a creative workaround.
Those show you can actually apply these concepts in the real world.
And that's what interviewers want to see. They want to see your passion, your unique experiences.
So it's about connecting those dots between the theory and your own journey as a developer.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to let your enthusiasm shine through. Find a company that's excited about your eagerness to learn.
Because those are the places where you'll really thrive, right?
Absolutely. And speaking of resources, don't forget to check out the How to Become channel.
Yeah, they have a ton of great stuff.
They even have a downloadable guide with 27 software developer interview questions and answers.
Perfect for practicing and refining your responses.
Definitely.
So as you gear up for that interview, remember, you've put in the work, you've honed your skills, and you've prepped like a champ.
Now go in there with confidence, knowing you have valuable insights to share.
Be yourself, be engaging, and most importantly, be enthusiastic.
The right company will see your potential, not just your technical abilities,
They'll see a passionate developer who's ready to learn and grow.
and make amazing things. The world needs talented folks like you out there building the future.
Well said. And that wraps up our deep dive into the world of software developer interview prep.
We hope you feel more confident and even more excited to showcase your skills.
Good luck with your interviews, everyone. We're rooting for you.
Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep building. Until next time, happy coding.